We're in Denver today. We're talking with Dawn Bauer. She is a hemp and CBD educator and advocate, and she's also a brand ambassador for Cannaway. Welcome to Cannabis News Update, Dawn.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Great. You know, that's a pretty heavy title. Hemp and CBD advocate and educator. Tell me a little bit about how that came about.
You know, it was over a year ago that I really started learning about all the things that the hemp plant can do, and the cannabis plant in general. And I started reading all this research on CBD and how that was helping people with their health, and the endogenous cannabinoid system, which I used to teach middle school science.
Okay.
And that was not one of the systems that we taught in there. So I was a little upset that I had never heard of it before. And so I learned about it. I became called. I decided, you know what, this is what I have to do. If I don't know about this, there's millions of people that have no clue what this plant is all about and what CBD is. So at that point, I actually hooked up with my sister, and I was like, sister, come do this with me. We're gonna change the world. We're gonna save the planet. So that's kind of how it started.
Well, you know, since you mentioned that it's not in science books for kids, no one's really learning about it. So can you, in a nutshell, I'm kind of putting you on the spot, explain what the benefits are of hemp and in relation to CBD, what those are?
Yeah, in a nutshell. Wow.
Yeah, I know.
So there are 50,000 different uses for the hemp plant.
Let's
so
go
we don't
through
have
them.
enough time to do that here, right? But that's just one. And so a couple of those things: paper, hempcrete, which is great insulator and a nice alternative to fiberglass. Clothing. This is actually made out of hemp.
Yeah, your T-shirt says "Save the Humans."
Save the humans.
Okay.
You can make. The protein actually of the hemp seed is a complete protein. A lot of people don't know that, and that's hard to find sometimes in plants. So it's a great alternative to eating, you know, a meat-based protein for people, and it's got all your essential fatty acids and omega-3 and 6 fatty acids, all of that.
Kind of a superfood.
It is.
Yeah.
It is a superfood, along with flax and, you know, all of that stuff, which flax actually has cannabinoids as well. So CBD is one of about 100 different cannabinoids in the cannabis plant. THC is another popular one that people like to talk about, but those are just two of many. And so CBD is interesting because it doesn't give people that psychoactive effect of the THC.
Right.
So if they don't like that effect, or they can't function through life, you know, with that, they can take something like CBD and it's still connecting to those receptors on our cell wall that feeds that endogenous cannabinoid system.
And that's why there's all this, forgive the pun, buzz about CBD.
There is quite a buzz.
You can enjoy the health benefits in many different ways from it. If you choose to do so, you don't have to get high from it.
Exactly.
No psychoactive effect at all.
Yeah, it's great.
What is it that you're doing when you're educating people? How in depth are you going with it?
Yeah, so sometimes as in depth as they want me to go, but I definitely go over the history of the hemp plant because it's been around on this planet for a long, long time. I think some people thought, oh, they just discovered it with the Native Americans, or they rediscovered it in the 70s, you know, but really, it's been around for a long time. In 2000 BC, they saw it in Asia. People were making clothing out of it, paper for their scrolls, even used medicinally. In Egypt, they called it the elixir of the gods. So it's been used medicinally and for rope. And, you know, Columbus's rope and sails on his ship were made out of hemp.
Sure.
So our Declaration of Independence was made out of hemp. We used to grow it everywhere here in the United States. And so we kind of go through the history of that and what caused hemp to kind of just go away in the United States. We go over that as well. And then, of course, the science. So the history and then the science of the endogenous cannabinoid system and how it helps with mood, sleep, appetite, hormone production, all those things. Even if CBD just helped us with sleep, and help us sleep better, that alone would help a lot of people out.
What would you say to somebody who's still skeptical? The CBD, it sounds like snake oil to me. It does too many things. I'm not buying it.
It does do a lot of things because basically that endogenous cannabinoid system is is the largest self-regulatory system in our body. So feeding that system, it helps bring our body to homeostasis. So however each of us are off balance in our body, so you might need a different amount than I do.
Right.
And maybe you need different cannabinoids than I do. And I think we're really on the verge of being able to test for that, where we could, just like we can test for a vitamin D deficiency,
Sure.
and then you would need to take vitamin D every day to
Right,
feed
as
that
opposed
deficiency.
to A or C or B.
Right.
Right.
Then if I could discover, okay, I have a specific deficiency in these cannabinoids, it's going to be really cool when we can
Yeah.
discover that, and I know how many milligrams I need to take every day for my body. So right now it's just an experiment. We experiment with, how much we're taking each day and how that makes us feel. For me, definitely help with mood, sleep, appetite, my knees from being a cheerleader in high school and being a Lindy Hop swing dancer for years.
I could see you might be in some pain after that.
That's right. You have to do a lot of aerials and land incorrectly before you figure out the trick. But my knees haven't hurt for a year.
So you are truly an advocate because you also use CBD.
Yes, sharing my personal story with people, and I don't even have, that challenging of health issues as some people.
Right.
And so when I get to work with people that are, having autoimmune disorders, and they come back to me and they tell me these stories of how it's helping them, it really feeds me and keeps me going, because I know there are more and more people out there that are really suffering, and this might be the ticket.
Well, before we can conclude, a couple other things. One, is there anything that you would say to somebody who's just finding out about CBD or hemp? Anything that a clear message that you want to give to them? Somebody may be watching right now.
I would say, let me sit down with you. Let me sit down with you and show you a couple of things. Would you be interested in let me show you a few things, and just give them the science behind it and the history behind it. Unfortunately, people make decisions for themselves. They already decide how they feel about something, and sometimes there's nothing you can say to change their mind. And I do understand that. I will continue to keep educating, but
we're not going to get them all.
We're not going to get them all.
But maybe come with an open mind.
That's right.
Great.
That's right.
Now, you're an ambassador, a brand ambassador for Cannaway. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Cannaway is a direct sales company, and we have a bunch of sister companies, Hemp Meds, Dixie Botanicals, and a bunch of others. And we're all under Medical Marijuana Inc., which was the very first publicly traded cannabis company. And all of our hemp comes from Europe, which at first I was a little upset. I was like, why don't we get it from the United States? But because of the clean soils that we have in Europe, and also because when we started doing that, it was legal for us to do that and make sure it was legal in all 50 states. But that company, it is amazing to be around so many other entrepreneurs that truly want to save the planet. They want to help people with their health, and they really, really care about what they're doing and about what the future of this planet looks like.
And that's pretty cool to work for somebody like that.
It really is. It really is. And that goes all the way to the top of the company. So I've been really happy, and I get to work with my sister.
That's cool too. Your sister,
Yep.
Who's
My parents.
not here right now, or it
Right.
might have been a two-person interview.
Yep.
Also involved. Dawn, you mentioned also that you've been involved with some other things. You're on a calendar.
I am on a calendar.
Well, let's do some self-promotion here. Let's see it. Look at
The
this.
Women of 420.
You are
Can
a
we
woman
see
of
this?
420. It's a charity calendar presented by Weed Life, is what I see there. And,
That's right.
And you are like a superhero? What is this?
So I randomly got to be a part of this. They were looking for women for this calendar. Whoever got the most votes got to be on the front of the calendar.
Aha!
And I have a friend who is a body painter, and I asked permission. I said, can I please be body painted for the front of the calendar? And I got to be, and I said, can we just use the theme that this plant can save the planet? And this is the art she came up with.
You've got the planet, you've got the medical symbol there.
Yep, and that's Mythica von Griffin. She was actually on Skin Wars.
Okay.
Yep, and
Very
the photographer is Don Hales, who also did a great job. But yeah, I'm wearing a wig. I thought it turned out pretty good.
It does. The whole thing is really cool. I like the colors and really cool
It's
look.
good stuff.
Congratulations
Yeah,
on that.
Thank you.
Well, again, thank you, Dawn Bauer,
Yeah.
for joining us at Cannabis News Update. It's really exciting to meet other people in the industry who are having an impact, and we appreciate your time.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
That'll do it from Denver. I'm Dan Larkin with Cannabis News Update.